One two one two one two one two. What's going on, everybody? Let me get make sure that I'm going on Facebook and hold on 1 second here. Make sure everything is good and going. Let's see here. Let's see here. Hopefully, everybody having a good Christmas Eve here. Let me see here. Let me edit my privacy. Make sure everybody can see it. Boom. All right. All right. Go ahead and hit share one more time. All right. Okay. I think that everything is good to go right now. Uh I don't think that we are muted. I get crazy messages sometimes, so I'm just not going to play any background music with this one. Facebook is so crazy, but anyway, we're back in the place to be. I'm getting a little hissy feedback. Let me see. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna turn the Bluetooth off. So, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing in Facebook world, YouTube world, Instagram world? What's going on? This is the Every Other Day podcast. The Every Other Day podcast. And like I told you guys, you know what I mean, I'm going to be coming live. I'm going to be coming live every other day. Just like, just like the comment said, every other day, that's what I'm going to do. But today, I wanted to come so our last podcast or our last meeting or whatever you want to call it, I came up with a name and I like it. I like the name that I came up with. It is and going to be the Every Other Day podcast. And basically, in a nutshell, today podcast is going to be called Be Selfish. And ain't nothing wrong with doing that. And it's just a reason why I'm calling it that, called Be Selfish, is just because sometimes you have to be selfish about what the things that you're trying to accomplish. So the things that I'm trying to accomplish, or like I said the last podcast, I'm going to be alleviating that out of my vocabulary, the word try, the things that I'm doing. Hit the share button one more time. The things that I'm doing will require me to be selfish to certain extents, to reasonable doubts that I have to just go ahead and be focused on what it is that I'm accomplishing. And if it doesn't coincide with what the final goal is, then I have to go ahead and be what you might call selfish. And that's okay. Sometimes the problem happens when you become selfless and you're doing too much other places that you can't concentrate on what it is that you're trying to do to get the ball rolling for what it is that you want to do. So that's what the term "be selfish" is fine, and it's okay for you to do that because you want to go ahead and accomplish some things for yourself. Now, I'm not saying to be a selfish, honorary, mean person, but sometimes you have to be just as adamant as you are for others. You have to be as adamant for yourself in order to get these goals or get these outcomes that you want. So our last meeting or podcast was about, I'm erasing my board here. Our last meeting or our last podcast was about creativity. And this one, creativity, we had some things to talk about that we should focus on if we want to become more, a better creative, and why being creative and being original are things that's necessary in your growth as far as business or a person, So today, being selfish, why are some of the reasons that we need or should be selfish, and what are the things that we're trying to accomplish? So what I like to do is I like to list down I like to list things um, as I go, ideals. And one of the reasons why you have to be selfish is, anybody in the class tonight? Or I just go ahead and do it on my own. One of the reasons you have to be selfish is what? Anybody out there? I got Instagram pulled up on the TV up there. I might not be able to really see the comment, but if it's anybody up there, please be sure to go ahead and say what it is that you feel, or YouTube or Facebook. What is a good reason to be selfish in the things that you're trying to accomplish? We give it 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Since nobody came up with the answers, one of the good reasons, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram out there, whoever's watching, one of the best reasons to be selfish is because what is self-care. We roll that down on number 1, self-care. We got this little, I love this thing here. But being selfish a lot of times is a necessity. You have to be diligent and self-care after yourself. Because if you're doing too much other places, you can't concentrate on either one of your health. You can't concentrate on your business. You can't concentrate on your family life or your spousal life or your relationships. You have to be selfish to know what it is that you're trying to accomplish or you're going to accomplish. Because if you find yourself too stressed out doing things for other folks, you're going to lose yourself in the process. So there's nothing wrong with being selfish, because it is a part of what? Number 1, self-care. Self-care. So that's number 1. Number 2, anybody else out there? Oh, serendipitously. I got that right. Serendipitously. Deliciously, serendipitously. Avoid naysayers. Let's say be selfish. So avoid, let me pop that up there. Avoid the naysayers. I think that's a real great thing to think about, or avoid naysayers. Yeah, you got to avoid naysayers, because people will, in my opinion, people talk you out of your, they talk you out of your ideals. And I think that goes real good with what I was talking about, not with the creativity piece, but the first one that I did a couple of days ago. It's about prematurely talking or telling people what it is that you want to do, because people will talk you out of what it is that you're trying to do. So all of that coincide, and it's a good take what you just said right there. Thanks for joining. So also I'm going to be opening up the phone lines. Bobby, if you want to call, you can call. I'm gonna open them up in around 10 minutes, because I'm not gonna stay long today. So number 1, I believe, is self-care. Bobby, give me another one. This is for why you should be selfish and the things that you're trying to do. Since you're here, why don't you give me the next one? Give me the next one, Bobby. Or anybody that's on YouTube or Instagram. I might be able to see Instagram up there, but my eyes is crazy. So, and help weed out optimist. But I want you to give me the next one. Give me the next. Okay, the topic is, why should we be selfish? What's a good reason to be selfish about the things that you're doing? Anybody? Opportunist? Avoiding opportunist? Let's see. You're giving me some good ones, but they almost not right what I'm looking for. I know it when you say it, though. Opportunist, that's a good one. That might be a future podcast. But okay, let's go ahead and put a second one. So the first one I put is self-care, because you want to be selfish because of You want to make sure that you're self-care. You want to make sure that you're taking care of the things that you want to do. So being selfish about that that's a good thing to be, to take care of your self-care. I think the next reason to be selfish is because you will be able to listen to yourself. Sometimes when you're selfless, you're listening to everybody else. And that kind of goes back to what you were saying. My sister, I'm gonna have to call it. Kia, I'm gonna call you back. Kia, I'm gonna call you back. I know y'all out of church. So to avoid the naysayer. So basically, so you can listen to yourself. So I say be selfish, because sometimes if you too busy listening to everybody else or doing for everybody, you can't clearly hear yourself. So I'm saying, so you'll be able to listen to yourself. A lot of people need the validation sometimes of hearing, like you say, would avoid the naysayers. Basically, what you said, tapping into your intuition better. That's what it is. A lot of people lean until they got to get advice before they do a lot of things, or they have to ask 5 or 6 people before they think it's a good idea. But whereas if you really being selfish, sometimes all you really need to understand is that all you need to do is I'm not saying not talk to anybody else about your idea, but in due time, but you need to really concentrate and talk to yourself about what it is that you want to do and if it makes sense to you. So be selfish about listening to yourself. Don't rely on getting validation or support all the time, because a lot of times you won't get support. Or if you do get support, like I told you 2 or 3 days ago, that support is either going to be, sometime it can be talked about behind your back, or that support is not as genuine, or, sometimes when you speak what you want to do to somebody, when you speak about what you want to do to somebody prematurely, sometimes it loses power. Sometimes you have to be selfish and keep that dream inside sometimes. So I say that's number 3. Sometimes you could just talk too much, you know what I'm saying, and just say too much too soon. So that's a good one. Self-care is number 1, listening to yourself, or you say you can tap into your intuition better. I like that. I'll go over to YouTube, see if I see anything. Don't see anything. Okay. Yeah, what it is. Okay, we going up to the self-care, listening to yourself. What's number 3? We're gonna list out 4. We're gonna list out 4 reasons to be selfish. So I'm gonna give this let's say 10 seconds. Anybody chime in? If not, I'm gonna come up with something. 5, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, nobody said anything. So number 3, I'm just letting it come to me. I'm just doing this impromptu like I always do with you guys. So I think the third reason to be oh man, you just hit it on the net. You just hit it on the neck. Focus. Great. And you're right. That's like probably paramount right there. You're able to focus on the things that you want to do. You're able to focus clearly on things that you need to do. You're able to focus clearly on everything that's around you. You're able to get a clearer focus. So be selfish when you notice that you're losing focus. Be selfish when you know you're losing focus. We know when we're losing focus, we can get, too inundated with what everybody else has got going on. I always say it's only really one of you. And if anything ever happens to you, the show will go on. If you even look at funerals, if you go to funerals, it could be somebody that you love dearly. It can be your mother, your father, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, friends, whoever, however. But the funeral, they go to the funeral, they put that person, you have your little service, put the person on the ground, you go eat, and you go back, and life continues. And whatever they had going on, it's a replacement waiting for them. So sometimes we lose focus, and we do too much, spreading ourselves too thin, and we actually putting ourselves in a detriment. So you need to, what I'm learning as getting older, you need to focus on things like your health, your mental awareness, and your rest, things you eat. But more importantly than that, than all of them, what comes in these things here? What comes in these ears is almost much important as what you put in your mouth for stomach, for nourishment, because these things right here influence you know what you allow yourself to listen to influences your mind, influences your day. I've had situations where I have listened to the wrong thing from somebody and to give me a headache for the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to guard your ears, guard yourself and stay focused to what it is that you want to do. So I really like that. Number 3. So we got self-care. One of the reasons to be selfish is for your self-care. Number 2 reason is you're able to listen to yourself, which I think is you start to value yourself and value your own opinion, and value your sense of worth. And then number 3, Bobby, you said a great thing. I really appreciate that. Focus. I like that. So 4 in the final, and then we're going to open up the phone line, and anybody on Instagram and anybody that's on Facebook and anybody that's on YouTube can give me a call if you like. So the 4th and the final, and then I'm going to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out before we get to that to the Paramount number 4. I'd like to give a shout out to Sasha Doris. Man, she chimed in the other day. She really enjoyed this. Lauren, Nicole, Ida. So I'm thinking some people getting something out of this. This is the every other day, like I said, podcast, or the every other day meeting. I don't really want to call it a podcast, but I'm coming every other day. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to pigeonhole myself and saying I got to do this every day. But more or less, I'm doing this every other day, not just to talk about things that I'm using and a principle for what I want to do in the business that I'm doing, the way I want to grow. And I'm just sharing principles that I want to implement better. So sometimes talking it out, sometimes you work it out. Sometimes you have to talk it out to convince yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like listening to yourself. So me doing this, actually, I'm listening to myself through talking to you guys, and I'm preaching to myself, but hopefully that, you get something out of it and you can grow from it too. But I got a little bit of an experience on how to make things happen because I want things to happen, or I know what I want to happen for me. So a lot of times I don't even know how I'm getting there or what I'm doing, but I just know I just keep putting the hammer to the rock, and it just happens after a while. So I'm just talking, to myself a lot of times that I'm doing this, but I wanted to come to do this I don't really want to say podcast, but I wanted to come and do this every day. But I noticed, I'm like, bro, don't overcommit yourself. So the overcommitment, I'm like, how can I get over the overcommitment? But I do want to do it every other day. Bam, there we go. The every other day podcast or meeting, or the every other day show, or whatever the case may be. So again, I'll be talking about everything and honestly all things, considering the pod and growing it and talking about it, but the principles that I'm implementing to do better and provide a good service. So that being said, let's go ahead and get to number 4. Got 10 seconds. And let's see if I can get help. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to put, you deserve it. Why be selfish? Because you deserve it. That's going to round it out. You deserve to be selfish. You deserve to be selfish. Now, I'm not saying you self-righteous and you deserve, a lot of us don't deserve anything. You know what I'm saying? But let's be honest. A lot of times you deserve to be able to be selfish once in a while, to be able to go ahead and do the things that you want to do. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to say no. You know what I mean? And it's okay to be able to feel like you deserve a break. You know what I mean? And sometimes we don't feel like we have a break because we got to do so much, or we got to keep the ball rolling with something else or someone else or whatever. You got to be able to go ahead and say, you know what? I deserve it. I deserve it. And that's all I can really say about that, So with that being said, I'm going to say self-care number 1, Listen to yourself, so you're able to listen to yourself. Be able to hear, understand, and hear your own voice. Because a lot of us don't even understand or hear our own voice. A lot of times we be talking, we listen to other people so much that we don't even recognize our voice. You have to recognize your voice. That's another reason to be selfish. The third reason to be selfish is that you're able to focus on the things that you want to do. And you're able to focus on the things around you, what's important, what matters. Okay? And then number 4, you deserve it. Sometimes you deserve to be selfish. You deserve to be selfish. How are you going to grow your business? How are you going to grow your relationship? How are you going to grow anything if you don't feel like you deserve it? If you want that car, you got to feel like you deserve that car. If you want that house, you got to feel like you deserve that house. You want that business, you want that spouse or whatever. You got to understand and feel like you deserve that. And a lot of times it's hard for us to feel like that because, a lot of us are humble people and we don't feel like, we just don't deserve things sometimes. And I fell in that category too. Like, who am I? I'm just Sante. You know what I'm saying? So, bam, Katrina, faithful. There she go. That's my dog right there. What's up? Thank you for popping in. Share it for me real quick if you can. And you absolutely right about that. You also have to learn your boundaries. Thank you for that, Katrina. That is the topic for the next Every Other Day podcast. Boundaries. Bro, so many people need to hear this one. There has to be boundaries. I love what you just said, Katrina. That is the topic for the next one that we're going to do. So right now I'm going to put the phone line up, but you're right about that. We gotta have boundaries on the things that we do because in our life, if we don't have boundaries, we're gonna get ran ragged. I've had a hard time with that before. Well, I think a lot of us have had a hard time with drawing the boundaries because the boundaries sometimes get blurred a lot of times. So I think if a successful person knows how to create boundaries and they have fences and they know how to, sometimes you can open the gate and the fences and but you got to know where those boundaries and those fences are in your life. And so that's going to be our next one. Let me make sure that I got the phone line up through the Bluetooth there. Let me see, go to my settings here. Make sure that we connected. So I like that. Strong boundaries, you know what I mean? I like that. So that's the next one for the Every Other Day meeting. I'm gonna keep it at meeting. I don't really know about I don't know. It's the meeting or the podcast or the Every Other Day show. I don't either one of them. But let's go ahead and I'm gonna open up the phone line. Bam. 248 905 1128. 248 905 1128. 248 905 1128. If you would like to call, so this is going to be the format of the show for everybody that ever watches. I'm going to come on, talk about the topic at hand, give four bullet points of that topic, and then going to elaborate on it slightly or whatever. Then I'm going to open the phone line. And that's pretty much is going to be how each to put the batteries in this joint. That's pretty much how each show going to be, where a person can, elaborate or an experience or talk about real quickly what it is that they have to say about it. The number 248-905-1128. Won't you call today? If there's anyone out there, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. And if not, I'm going to be out. And I'll bid you all a happy Christmas Eve, I'm gonna swear I got up and I didn't even know it was Christmas Eve. I didn't even know it was Sunday. You know what I'm saying? That's how much my days are really kind of running together right now. So, um, but yeah, it's very important. You got to be able to set your boundaries, man. And I think that's gonna be a barn burner right there. Strong boundaries. And I thank you for Katrina for giving me that, and thank you uh serendipitously Bobby for giving me the strong boundaries. Let me go over here. I'm gonna go look at here. I'm gonna go look at my screen and see what is being said on my Instagram real quick, because I don't want to miss anybody. So let me see what they're saying real quickly. I ain't going nowhere. I just want to see what Instagram is saying. I want to look at my at my hookup, so you guys can still hear me. So I'm gonna go over here and look at my Instagram feed just to see what that might be saying. So, okay, Thorpe just gave. Well, she's on. I don't know if she's still on. Nunu V, that's me. She's on. So, all right, all right. I appreciate y'all for joining in on Instagram. You know what I mean? I love doing this type of work, man. I'm just like my dad said, it tickles me. You know what I mean? It tickles me that I'm able to do what I'm doing. All right. So I don't know if there's any other people coming in, you know what I mean? But let's go ahead and recap and we'll be done for the day, for the every other day meeting. Today was all about it's okay to be selfish. And I'm not saying that makes you a nasty person, because sometimes you want to go ahead and do what you want to do. I think it makes you a bad person when you don't do what you want to do. As we get older, we start to see how life is fleeting. When we're younger, we don't really understand it as clearly as we get to understand it as we begin to climb the ladder. But as you begin to climb the ladder, you start checking your mortality. You start saying like, man, I'm 35, I'm 40. You know what I'm saying? And you start to really understand like, what's the life expectancy for people? It's 70, 80. So you really at your midlife around 35, 40 years old. So there's a lot of stuff that you need to go ahead and do, because there's a reason why you're here. So you can't give all your time and energies off and away. You have to make sure that and there's nothing wrong with doing things for causes or people or entities, but you got to make sure that in the time of doing this, you don't spend all your energy building and doing everything for everyone. You got to make sure that you build your castle. You got to make your mark. You got to go ahead and make your part stake in the world. Because when it's all said and done, that's all that you really have. And I really feel when it's all over, said and done, you will, when judgment day comes or whatever you believe in, you will be asked about what did you do with the gift that I gave you for you. It's cool that you use it for others, but that you have to build is something for you. It's for you. That gift that you got wasn't only for others, it was for you. So you got to make sure that you use your gift for you first of all. Then you use it with others. But a lot of times we don't do that. We put all our energies and we burn ourselves out for other folks, and you can't do that. You got to go ahead and create some type of balance. And it's okay. It's a time and a place to do that too. But sometimes we don't know how to pull back. We just keep going until we burn ourselves completely 100% out. So I think it's important that you go ahead and believe in yourself, understand the type of talent and the talent and you got to understand the talent and the gift that was given to you for you as an individual to go ahead and build and expound, and then also make some waves for your parentegers, so for your children, for your nieces or whomever to come after. And sometimes they're not as strong as you. So sometimes you have to lay the bricks and they can go ahead and add the mortar. So maybe you got to think of it like that too. So sometimes you have to lay the brick, and then the people coming after you got to lay the mortar, and then they can add more brick. But you got to show them how to make brick. But the thing is that you got to go ahead and make the brick and lay it. If it's something that you want to do, you don't depend on anybody else to make the brick and lay it for you. You have to make your brick and lay the brick. You know what I'm saying? And you can do that. But a lot of times we don't believe in ourselves. So we don't believe or we don't listen to ourselves, like I said. So not by listening to yourself, you don't even know what your voice is. You don't even know who you are. And a lot of times we don't even understand and know who we are until some of us never find out who we are. You have to listen to yourself and understand that you're good enough to be able to make waves and do the things that you want to do. I learned that a long time ago. I always do what I want to do. I'll do what you want me to do for a little while. I'll help out. I do this and I do that. But after a while, I just get restless because I gotta do me. You know what I'm saying? I always have to. I'm just a super creative person, and and especially with creative type of people, it's real hard to. They like untamed animals. You know what I'm saying? They wild. But they could they controllable, but they they need to do their thing. So a lot of times you need to go ahead, and even if you're not a super creative person, that's fine. But you still have things that you need to go ahead and accomplish and put your effort to. So it's okay to be to be selfish in that part where you listening to yourself and you able to focus on what it is that you want to do and what's around you. And then lastly, you really deserve it. You deserve it. Life is a gift, and what is living your life if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not looking out for yourself first? Now, I'm not saying don't help, not saying that don't help other people and don't do things, whatever like that, but you can only help and do for others if you're really taking care of yourself. Because once you're gone, there will be a replacement. Or even if there is no replacement, you're going to be in the ground and life is going to continue to go. We see it every day, all the time. So do your thing. Do your thing. So I guess nobody might be buzzing in, and that's cool in the game. But so what we going to do is announce what our next week is going to be, Strong Boundaries. I'll be doing the same format, and we're going to talk about boundaries and how boundaries help you build what it is that you're trying to do, because you're going to need boundaries to be able to continue to build. And you can expand your boundaries. You can open fences and things like that, but you got to have boundaries in order to have a structure. Any structure that we see has a boundary. Any house that you see has a boundary line. The White House, anything has a boundary line. So you got to know what your boundary is, where there's no impeding, no trespassing. I kind of almost like that better. No trespassing. Strong boundaries, no trespassing. That'd be a double. That'd be a double. No trespassing. So before I get out of here, I want to go ahead and shout out the pod. This is where I'm doing this from. People seem to enjoy it and like it when they come see it. There's a lot of new changes coming with the pod. I'm getting them all in order now to go ahead and roll out at the beginning of the year. Y'all gonna love it when you come down and visit me. It's 43700 Woodward Avenue, Suite 40, right down the street from St. Joseph Hospital. If you're coming from the Pontiac area, if you're coming from the surrounding area, because I service it all and I do it all, you will like it and love it. We have 4 packages, but I just rolled out a brand new one. I'm rolling it out, and it's called the Full House. And the Full House is something crazy, but it makes it where it's available to come to wherever you are. And I'm gonna talk more a little bit about that. So start seeing some changes real soon on the website. And we're gonna be having a good next 12 months up in this joint. I'm really happy about where things are going. I've been having a couple days just to sit back. This has been the first time in a while I had a time just to really sit back and compartmentalize, play my PlayStation for a minute, just to chill out and think about where I'm going and kind of put some things in order where I want things to be, and get some stress relieved out of the old mind and brain, because life is stressful. It can be stressful. It can be overbearing, or it can be a lot. A lot of us got a lot going on, and that's okay to have. Stress. Some stress is good. You know what I mean? Because it lets you know you got to get some things done. But being able to know how to work through your stress and compartmentalize, and that's what a lot of us should be working on. I think compartmentalizing but making sure that you make yourself a priority. You have to make you number one priority. You are the number one priority, okay? And remember that, because without you, then what? You know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of take care of the part. And believe I'm only talking to you guys from experience, okay? I'm really only talking to you guys. It's a lot. I'm a fairly silent guy. I don't talk a whole bunch. I'm more chill. I'm laid back. A lot of people don't know too much about me. It's by design. But, you know, I do know some things. I've been through some crazy, wild things. But so I do understand life. I understand a lot. You know what I mean? So I just want to share those things with you. And if there's, like I said, business or some type of thing that you're trying to build, I can help you in certain ways with that. But we do big things going forward and been doing them. And we're going to continue to do them. Let's see here. Like I say, also, you know, throw out the drone business will be, the drone business never stopped, but it's being rebirthed. There's a lot of great good things that's really about to really be taken. I mean, I'm just choked up saying the things that I see. So, and the drone business is how this whole thing started in the first place. Really, all of this that I'm doing now started from one drone 7 years ago. You know, and then I became a published journalist. So I'm actually a journalist, published journalist. Actually, and I'm going to toot my own horn, which I really never do. I am the most published or publicized public journalist from the city of Pontiac. Absolutely. More front page articles have came off my work or my journalism. And when I had to sit back and really look at that and think, I'm like, wow, I didn't ever notice it until I really sat back and thought about it. But sometimes you don't think, again, that kind of goes back to the self-care. Sometimes you don't even think about the things that you accomplished. Sometimes you don't even think about it. But yeah, God has blessed me to be the most published or the publicized or published journalist from the city of Pontiac. Period, point blank. It's all record, you know, and wow. You know, so sometimes you got to sit back and understand and look like, dang, what have you done and been able to do? And when I mean through means like the Oakland Press, the Macomb Daily, the the 21st Media Group, which controls the whole, like, Connecticut. So a lot of the stuff that I've done has been like shown in New Hampshire and Connecticut. Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't even really understand or know all of that until I had to really sit back and think about it. And then you can sit back and be like, you know what, I do deserve to be, you know, have these things, or, you know, you gotta focus, because a lot of times, again, you can get lost in the shuffle in the mix. So with that being said, y'all have a good rest of the day. Y'all go ahead and enjoy your Christmas Eve and family or whatnot. And I'll probably see you. You never know. You might see me tomorrow, depending on how tomorrow will be going. With that being said, keep God first, family second, and you third. And in that order, you should never be last, because the last made first. That doesn't contradict anything that I said. I just believe the scripture when it says, you know, keep God first, family second, and you third, because in that order, you should never be made last, because the last, what the Bible say, is always made first. All right? Continue to help people, continue to do good, continue to be good, continue to love people, continue to try to be as you know, as good as you can. But the main important thing is make sure that you're good to yourself. And that's the message of the day. All right, y'all. One love. Peace.